Hi everyone, welcome to Mind Talk. Today we're diving into the Hampton Aesthetic. You see that perfect creamy oat latte in a beautiful ceramic mug. Well, in the world of the Hampton Aesthetic, that'll be a cool $38, please. What about those super breezy, I just threw these on linen pants that look like a cloud? $198 for one pair. And to achieve that entire casual, oh, this old thing look, you're looking at about $2,000. Suddenly, looking unbothered starts to seem like a very, very expensive job. And that just brings up the big question, doesn't it? In a world that feels so loud, so overwhelming, so chaotic, why is the dream we're all collectively chasing so quiet? Let's decode this million-dollar mood. Because this really isn't just about beige clothes and fancy candles. We're talking about a feeling, a whole vibe that's being bottled up and sold to us. At its heart, the Hampton Aesthetic is all about luxury that whispers. It doesn't scream at you. It's a complete pivot away from the old way of showing off. And this didn't just appear out of nowhere. It's a full-on rebellion against a culture that so many of us were drowning in just a few years ago. The hustle culture. Remember Logomania? When luxury was just loud, you'd plaster designer names all over everything to basically scream, "Look how rich I am." Well, the Hampton Aesthetic just completely flips that script. The new flex is being quiet, understated. The message has shifted from wealth to being unbothered. And that's the key right there. It's selling an emotion. I totally got caught up in the whole rise and grind thing in my early 20s. My entire self-worth was tied to how productive I was. And surprise, surprise, I completely burned out. So when I see this aesthetic, I get the appeal. It feels like the antidote to all that exhaustion. It's basically repackaging our anxiety and selling it back to us as an aspiration. But why is this happening right now? Well, it turns out it's the result of a perfect cultural storm. Three huge things all collided at once. First, the girl boss hangover. The 2010s pushed hustle culture so hard that workplace anxiety shot up by 40% in that decade alone. We're exhausted. Second, the pandemic reset. Being forced inside made us all slow down and rethink what actually matters. And third, visual noise cancellation. Our feeds are so chaotic, these calm, neutral images feel like a deep, relaxing breath. And that pandemic effect, it was real. We actually saw home decor spending jump by almost 14%. We stopped wanting a place to just crash after work. We started craving a sanctuary. Our whole focus shifted inward. Okay, but let's get real for a minute. If we peel back the layers of expensive linen, what is this trend really saying about our deepest anxieties? There are three kind of uncomfortable truths we need to look at. First, we're performing financial security. When you see a stat like this, that a staggering 68% of Gen Z feels like they can't afford a home, that old money aesthetic of quiet stability starts to look like a very appealing fantasy. We're basically wrapping ourselves in beige cashmere to fight off crippling economic anxiety. Second, we're faking authenticity. It's kind of funny, right? We say we hate things that are fake, but this entire aesthetic, which is all about looking natural and effortless, is the ultimate performance. That perfectly messy, I woke up like this look, it took a team of stylists and a whole lot of money to create. And a third truth is the digital detox fantasy. Have you ever really noticed what's always missing from these pictures? Technology. There are no phones buzzing, no laptops open, no glowing screens anywhere. It's selling us the dream of a life that's permanently offline, which is a wild fantasy in a world that's permanently online. So, let's bring this all home. If we strip away the pricey fabrics and the perfectly organized bookshelves, what is the fantasy that we're actually buying into here? It isn't really about the $500 sweater or owning a house in the Hamptons. So what are we really obsessed with? It's the feeling of being done, just done. Done with the hustle, done with performing on social media, done with the constant pressure to be optimizing and improving every single second of our lives. We're buying the fantasy of rest. And that, I think, is the final takeaway. In this crazy world we live in, the most radical, most rebellious thing you can do, it isn't buying the right neutral-colored blanket. It's actually logging off. It's being present in your own messy, imperfect, sometimes chaotic, but beautiful life without feeling that constant need to curate it for an audience. What does unbothered truly look like in your life? Let me know in the comments below. Want to explore more interesting topics? Hit that subscribe button and see you next time.